There was no quorum. Members walked out. Everybody is worried that we are going on recess for 2 months. Up to now, we have not got CDF money. Children are going to school in January, and most of the children, they depend on these the bursaries from CDF. Maybe you can give us a statement on that, because the first thing we are going to be asked is that we met with the CS. What did he say? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, CS. So it's just a rider on that. This has been a thorn in the flesh for many Kenyans, and as CS issue of NGCDF funding. And the other time, you remember the last time when we were in Mombasa, it also brought a stalemate. I don't know why it really has to keep on recurring this fund, this disbursement, yet it is quite sensitive for members and it is quite sensitive for the country. So probably as you respond, you would also like to see in future, would not like to see these kind of ugly scenarios, especially on this particular fund. Thank you.
You can go on, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me say this, and with a lot of humility, because I came in very late last night or early this morning, and I was coming from COP28, and we take advantage of the COP28 to actually talk to bilaterals, and that's why His Excellency is actually in India right now. The message is very clear for us, is that things we don't know. The other day I was saying, kwa nini dunia imetuthuru namna hii? We have to understand, it is our country, dear members, and we have to understand. I narrated the whole situation. We had a big session where I said, in 1 year, Kenya has gone into two extremes. There's a severe drought, and now there is El Nino. In both cases, we have reallocated budgets, supplementary budget, and recurrent budget, and even development budget to save lives in both cases. At the same time, because those extremes also create a recession, we are not getting adequate tax revenues. So you can imagine, in fact, if the chairman can tell you, when you devour the development budget, it means that you remove the capacity for even future growth. So in a sense, we are struggling just to be on the same position. And that's why we actually, that's the same message I had in Marrakech, was that we are facing a serious liquidity crisis, and that is why we can't come in as fast as we would like to. But it's not a solvency problem. But sometimes people are rushed to say, we want the money today, otherwise you are dead on arrival. Sorry for using that word. But you end up taking measures to solve the problem, but those measures are not well coordinated, and they can actually ignite solvency challenges. We want to avoid that. But we are working very hard so that even before Christmas, we make sure that we make some few steps. By the way, I can tell you, we are even having trouble with salaries. We are clearing salaries with arrears. Okay? Just imagine that. The first thing we can do, and you are familiar with this story, is that we cannot default on external debt because our credibility is going to be ruined. It takes the first charge. But the team in the Treasury are working very hard. In fact, that's what I started looking at in the morning. I was even called by the governor in Nairobi County telling me that, look, I'm going to be impeached. What are we going to do? I have not given salaries. You can imagine it's a liquidity issue which is short term, but we are going to get there. We are going to get there very soon. We are working very hard round the clock to make sure that we are doing that. Most countries have recognized what kind of economies like ours, especially in the Horn of Africa, are facing the same problem, and they are coming up with budget support. We are signing supports from different countries. So we are going to ride over this. But in the meantime, we are just begging for a little bit of time. We are working 24 hours to make sure that we resolve this. And we want to make sure that how we resolve it also does not ignite solvency challenges. So we're going to be there. But it's only that we cannot get what we want at the time we really desperately want it. But we be sure that tomorrow, the next day, life is also going to give us some signal. In fact, the pattern of rainfall is helping us even to actually distribute relief partner, even support, even evacuating people who are in dangerous places. Remember, when the rains were going on, it was impossible to do that. So at least in every crowd, there is a silver lining that we are trying to utilize, and we are going to make sure that we utilize it to the maximum. Thank you very much, and I hope you bear with me and my colleagues at the Treasury and the totality of the government. We are all facing that crisis.
Yes.
Bwana CS, thank you so much for that elaborate explanation. But I would also like to ask, yesterday we saw an increase of interest rate from to 12.5. What is the effect on the domestic debt in